Hello and welcome to Elemental Yarn. Today is the day when I release my first official public playtest packet for my tabletop role-playing game Tides of Ambition. Yes, it is now fully playable. Everything you need to start playing is there, and you can download it right now. It's in the description. If that's all you needed from this video, just go get it right now. It's right there. Start playing. Let me know how it is. So for those of you who have not yet seen my first video in this series, I recommend it. It's a pretty good watch. You can find it right here. But Tides of Ambition is a tabletop role-playing game where the players take on the role of a crew of varied individuals who come together to complete jobs or tasks, and they're usually united by a common cause. Whether you are a guild of assassins, or you're bounty hunters, or monster hunters, or you're just a detective agency. One of the core design philosophies of Tides of Ambition is to facilitate interesting decision making. One great example is when it comes to armor. You can either take the armor that gives you the +2 bonus, or the armor that gives you the +5 bonus. You're just gonna take the one that gives you the +5. That's not an interesting decision. This game is all about interesting decisions. Everything has pros and cons, and you have to decide what's best for you in the given situation. Tides of Ambition is also a game in which pretty much only the players roll. The GM very rarely rolls. When you decide to invoke fate, decide to invoke the random number generator, RNGesus, the players will roll dice, and then you'll determine the result from there. Players always roll exactly 3 dice, and those dice are determined by their current condition, their relevant attribute, and their relevant skill. And each one of those dice can range anywhere from D4 to D12. So you could roll 3 D12s, or you could roll 2 D8s and a D4. It just depends on what your condition is and what your stats are. So as a result, there's actually very, very, very little math in this game. If you love D&D, but you get tired of trying to calculate 10d6 worth of fire damage, this might be a good fit for you. In this game, the only math you usually have to do is count, and you have to be able to determine what number is the middle of a set of 3 numbers, because that's how you determine your result. You roll your 3 dice, and then whatever number is the middle result, that's the result of your roll. There's also another dimension called boons and banes that can add positive benefits as well as negative consequences to a roll that exists outside of the success versus failure axis. So that means that every roll has multiple dimensions to it, but it's also really fast to calculate and figure out, what happened. Another key feature of Tides of Ambition is that it is very robust, yet fluid in the mechanics. And what do I mean by that? It's robust in that there are plenty of rules to cover a variety of situations, so we don't ask the game master to provide all of these various rule sets on the fly. We actually give them the tools they need to tell this story, but also it's fluid. So if you have a GM who really wants to make the world their own and put their own take on the rules, the game facilitates that in a very, very major way. And you'll see that from the playtest packet, I hope. At least that's my design intention. We'll see how well I did. I'm eager to receive lots of feedback on that. We'll see how that goes. So what is a playtest packet? Well, a playtest packet, in my case, this means I've got a 90 or so page document that you can download right now. You can print it out. I don't mind. You can share it with friends, whatever you want to do with it. But this is essentially a complete rule book, start to finish. It doesn't have everything in it. There are a few elements that are missing. For example, one thing you might notice right off the bat, there's no classes. I am not going to play test any classes yet at this point. I still want to make sure the system itself is up and running before I try and introduce things like lots of, packaged player options to try and balance those against each other, because that'll be a whole nother playtest. I think that'll be version 2. That's when I upgrade it from version 1 point whatever to version 2 point whatever is when I introduce the classes. That's when that'll come in. So for now, character creation is a bit simplified, but you can still find a specific role to occupy within the group. And you'll see how that works in the character creation chapter. What else is missing? One of my videos was talking all about how it's faction-oriented play and how it's all about having a campaign in mind with kind of a beginning, middle, and end, in your head from the beginning. That is not here yet. I still have yet to design the faction element of the game. That is something where I need to do lots of research and figure out what direction I want to go with that. I've had some great recommendations. I've been looking at systems like Stars Without Number for inspiration. I think Blades in the Dark is another great source of inspiration for factions. So I need to figure out how that system is going to work. So for now, this one is kind of on the shoulders of you and your group to figure out how you all work together and what your objective is. If you want to use the sample faction and campaign that I put together, I will also link to those in the description. So you can use that as a baseline if you have nothing else to go off of. You can use that as inspiration. Or do your own thing, whatever you want to do. All right, so you've downloaded the playtest packet by now, right? If not, get it. It's right there. It's in the description. It's free. It's a free game. But once you read it or you run a session with it, how do you provide feedback? Well, I probably will get a Google form at some point to mass collect feedback in the form of questions and stuff like that. But I am also announcing today that I am launching the Elemental Plane of Yarn Discord channel. So now I've gotten several requests for this from people over my past few videos. People want to have this community where they can share feedback about my game and about their own games and about other systems. So this is going to be your space. This is the Elemental Plane of Yarn. And that Discord server is now live. You can click this link in the description and you can join right now. In the future, that may be a paid tier for something such as Patreon. I'm not sure. That's something for future me to think about. But for now, as I'm trying to grow my audience and trying to get this community going of people who are excited about game design, it's free. Just join. Come on, drop a line. Let's chat about games. I'm super excited about this. And one thing I want to make clear though is that this server is not just for me. It's called the Elemental Plane of Yarn because that's my thing. But it's not just about my games. I want this to be a place where people can share their ideas about gaming in the tabletop space and be able to freely share ideas and information and collaborate and hopefully make some really cool stuff. I've already seen a lot of cool stuff that people have made already, and I'm very excited to see what else is out there, because I think there's a lot of people out there like me who sort of quietly have this huge project that they devote their entire lives to, and there's a lot of amazing and rich content there that doesn't really get to see the light of day. So let's get that stuff out. Let's dig it up. Let's show everyone. Let's have some fun. You will also find a QR code for the Discord server on the very front page of the playtest packet. So I'm not telling you to do this, but if you download it and print it out, maybe you drop it off at your game store. Maybe you drop it off at your gamer friend who, always likes to play crazy new games. Just saying, you can do that if you want to. I'm not telling you to, but if you wanted to, that would be kind of nifty. All right, now before I keep rambling on forever, I'm going to end the video. So I'll just say thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for your support so far. And I look forward to seeing your feedback into this crazy wild game idea of mine. And I look forward to seeing all of your ideas too. This is going to be a shared space where we can all contribute and create some really cool games and play tests and stories and experiences. It's going to be a good time. So I look forward to seeing you there. All right, all that being said, this has been Elemental Yarn. I'll see you later. Bye.